listening to, I say you are listening to, you are absolutely listening to the George Espenlaub Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. Now, with no further ado, here comes Georgie!
All righty. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Charlie, for that fine introduction. We're delighted to have you with us tonight. And whether you're down the street, around the corner, somewhere across America, or around this great big world, we want to invite you to have a good time and then get everybody that you know, however you reach out to people, reach out and touch them and tell them that the George Espenlaub Show is on right now and we are live and we are going to have us a humdinger of a show tonight. And we'll bring our guest on in just a few moments. But here's what I want us to do. Rick Fowler is with us tonight. Last Wednesday night, when we went on the air, it was like we were walking along and we both fell into a manhole. And things just wouldn't get right, technically speaking. And so we had to pull the plug and bring it down. But Rick has been so gracious to come back tonight. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed and my toes crossed that we don't fall into a rabbit hole tonight. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to get up, and parts of your body are going to move tonight that perhaps they never moved before or very seldom moved. This is what I want us to do. We're going to play right off the bat, and then when we're done, we're going to bring Rick back. We're going to play one of Rick Fowler's band music, splitting and spluttering. Come on, Espenlaub, get it right. We're gonna play some of the Rick Fowler Band music just to get it going, and then we'll be back.
Got a load of trouble on my burdened mind. I got an aching head. I got the tombstone eyes. I'm on the road to nowhere, babe. Driving blind. I got the pedal to the floor. I headed down that road. You know my heart is pounding, but my blood runs cold. Well, my mind is racing in I tried to make you proud, but you laughed at me, baby. You know you laughed out loud. I don't know where I'm headed, but it don't feel right. I'm on the road to nowhere, babe. I'm driving blind. I'm on the road to nowhere, babe. I'm driving blind. Yes, I'm on the road to nowhere, babe. I'm driving blind. Yeah, I'm on the road to nowhere, babe.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the Rick Fowler Band, and we have Rick with us tonight. He's our guest. He's in the chair, and he'll be speaking with us in just a moment. I need to tell you that this portion of the program is being sponsored by Unicorn Chasin' with Maxine and Walter. Now, hold on a minute. Unicorn Chasin', Chasin, with Maxine and Walter. Ever been to a ring bomb party? Well, look them up on Facebook. Unicorn Chasin' with Maxine and Walter. In fact, Maxine has informed me that her and Walter will be live on Facebook tonight around 9:30. And they'll be delighted if you show up, and I know you'll be happy that you did, and you can see what a ring bomb party is all about. So, Unicorn Chasin' with Maxine and Walter. Look them up tonight about 9:30 on Facebook. They go live. It's a lot of fun. I found an old friend, or an old friend found me. He's in the chat room. Mr. Stan Williams. Oh my goodness gracious! We were youngsters together, and Stan, it's good to have you here. I see our good buddy Ed Temple. Ed's always here, and I hope you enjoy the show, Stan, because you're in for a real treat. Rick, thank you so much for coming back after we fell in the rabbit hole last week.
That's okay. Thank you, George, for having me.
You know, as we was talking before we went on the air, this modern day technology is, I don't know, in one way it's great, and in another way it scares me half to death. But with the music industry, and you've been in it a long, long time, what is it like now as compared back in the day?
Well, back in the day, the first band I was in that got national attention was a band that called Fort Knox, and we had the way we ended up getting a record deal with we got a record deal with Epic Records, which was a major label back then. We had this radio station in Atlanta, was a big rock station called 96 Rock, and they had an album called Home Cooking, and they selected us to be on the album, and they just started playing it like crazy. It was getting tons of airplay on their station. Their station, one of the biggest in the Southeast, so it was a regional thing, and so we had a regional hit, and from that, the record companies, we were able to get them to fly out and see us, and we were opening for bigger bands and stuff, and so finally we got a record deal, and we're able to get international distribution and that kind of thing, and on MTV and all that, which was a big deal back then. MTV was really about music back then, and so I think the difference is on the bad side, if you got airplay on a station like we did, 96 Rock, you're reaching millions of people because everybody was tuning into that station around there. Every rock fan was. And but the good side is now that I mean, that was a good side then, but now it's more scattered. But at least if you put out a record, you don't have to depend on a record label to give you national distribution or international distribution. You just you know, you can hire one of these little companies that and release your own album, and you're everywhere. So that's the big difference to me, is that it's not as concentrated as it was, but immediately your record is released everywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you just tuned in, stumbled in, fell in, or somebody pushed you in, you're listening to the George Espenlaub Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. That's right, the Funny Farm, in a place called Our World. And I guarantee you it's a lot safer in our world than it is in yours. And our guest tonight is Rick Fowler, and we're featuring the music of the Rick Fowler Band out of Athens, Georgia. Rick, you mentioned the group that you played with. There's a song, On the Prowl, that was done by, what was it, Fort Knox?
Yeah, Fort Knox, Fortnox, and we had a, you know, we had quite a bit of success with. We had a song, the hit from the album was "Storm Inside My Head." That was the name of the song. But "On the Prowl" was the first song on the album, and it got quite a bit of airplay too. So, yeah, I think you have that one.
I got that one. Did you say that
it's 80s rock?
Yeah. Did you say that you recorded that in London?
No, what happened is we recorded it. Epic Records sent a producer over from London, and we recorded it in a studio in Atlanta. And but what happened is recently, this past year, a record company in London decided they wanted to re-release it, and they contacted us and said, you know, we'll give you a little bit of front money, and we'll give you a good royalty, and we want to put, because it was previously on vinyl, you know, back in the 80s. They said, we want to put it out on CD and also, you know, digitally on the internet. So we signed a deal with that record label, and they put it out. So they remastered it, made it, you know, sound better for digital play, and you know, so we like this label a lot. They're treating us a lot better than Epic did, actually. So, although it's a 36-year-old band, you know, 1982 was the original release. So,
well, we're going to play that if that's all right with you.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, Romans, and countrymen, and anyone else that might be listening, On the Prowl.
She dances in the night.
Hey, that was pretty cool, Rick. I like that.
Thank you. It's 36 years old, so, quite a bit of an old recording.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us tonight in the guest chair Mr. Rick Fowler, the Rick Fowler Band out of Athens, Georgia. Great music. We had Rick on prior. It's my brain housing group isn't clicking right sometimes, but we had him on before, and Rick has become a great friend. Man, we're so thankful that he decided to come back and be with us. We're going to continue to play his music and talk with him. Rick, off the top of your head, how many bands have you played with in your music venture?
Oh, I don't know, probably 20, in some form or another. And the thing about Athens is, not now, but, actually sometimes now, but everybody plays in more than one band. I mean, pretty much now I'm just, I got my own band, but I'll go jam with somebody else or whatever. But you'll be a member in maybe 2 or 3 different bands sometimes here, and the big people play with the little people, and there's no ego thing or anything. So, I was in a sideline band with the drummer from REM and the bass player from Widespread Panic, and whenever those 2 bands weren't touring, we would play. And so it's that kind of situation. It's a really good town for musicians.
That's pretty cool. Would you say the big play with the little and the little play with the big, and there's no big egos? That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, us little guys can play with the rock stars, and there's never a they're real cool about it. So yeah, it's a good place. It's a good place to play. A good place to live and play out of, so to speak.
Now, the question: if people want to find out where you're playing, where can we find out?
My Facebook page, and I think I should know this, but I think my Facebook page is under Rick Fowler Band.
Yep, it is.
And so, that's the best way to find. I do have a website, but it's being rebuilt right now for the band, and so it's temporarily down, but it was rickfowler.com, but that'll be back up at some point. But you can always check on Facebook. That's the best way.
Okay, good. And people can get your music or just about anywhere, Amazon, so on and so forth?
That's right. You can get it Amazon, iTunes, pretty much anywhere. It's at all the major outlets, I guess you could call them. And, it's on Spotify, and, so they can listen to it there.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go again. Guided Missile, the Rick Fowler Band.
mass destruction. To me, you're all the fucking same. Yeah, so if I had a guided missile and I could get nothing to fly, well, all you clowns down there on Wall Street, you'd be running for your lives. Yes, and if I had a guided missile and I could get nothing to fly, all you clowns down there on Wall Street, you'd be running for your lives. Yes, and all you clowns down there on Wall Street, you'd be running for your lives.
And you're listening to the George Espenlaub Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm in a place called Our World. And we have as our guest tonight, Rick Fowler, the Rick Fowler Band. Rick, is there a story behind that song?
The guided missile.
Uh-huh.
Yes. It's a personal song for me because you remember back in just after the recession, when the banks started illegally foreclosing on people using the robo,
Yep.
or what they call it, robo something. Well, Bank of America illegally foreclosed on my house.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I went to some lawyers and they said, well, you can fight it, but you have to put about 30 grand into it because they got deep pockets and they'll be able to shoot you down and all this stuff. So I couldn't do that. But the attorneys general of all, I think 49 of the 50 states sued Bank of America. And so we got a, class action settlement. And I got $1,500 on my house. So I developed a real hatred for the major banks.
But isn't that the great thing about music? I mean, you can whatever your platform is, you can kind of put it together.
Yeah, I mean, I hated that. I mean, I didn't have the money to fight them legally on their terms. Well, although I did win, but I just didn't win much money, I figured I wasn't going to go down without making a statement about it, So it's a warning to the Wall Street people, you mess with enough Americans and, something's going to happen to you eventually. So, I'm not making any threats. I'm just saying, let's hope something happens.
I got you.
Yeah.
Let's do this one right here. I like this. Rick Fowler Band.
said, preacher, don't try to save no souls when I die. It's my last day on earth. I just want to say goodbye. I said, preacher, don't try to save no souls when I die. Sermon, then do it on another day. 'Cause right now you got some hurting people, and they need you in a better way. You're not here to pass no judgment. You're not here to save no souls, and you cheapen everything you stand for. When you take a person's memory, turn it into a show. I said, preacher, don't try to save no souls when I die.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Rick Fowler Band. You're listening to the George Espenlaub Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. And we have as our guest tonight, Rick Fowler. Rick, you had, what, 2 surgeries on your hand?
Yeah, I did a stupid thing. I was moving, and I was moving a lot of heavy things around, and I crushed my hand and had a surgery about a year ago, and continued to try to I got over that and started trying to play again, and I thought, well, maybe I'll get by with that one, but then I ended up having to have the second one, so I just went ahead and got it, and I'm going to start back doing live gigs on the 28th of August. So I'm looking forward to get back in the game, because it's been a while. I've had months of recovery from each surgery and a little bit of time playing some gigs in between, about 6 months of playing, but I'm ready to get back at it, and hopefully that'll be the end of my hand surgery. Let's hope so.
Good. I asked you before, but I'll ask you again. Do you play primarily in and around Athens, or do you play throughout Georgia and other places?
We play really everywhere. This band, we went to Montreal, and we play some out of town stuff, but a lot of it is right here around Athens because there are a lot of venues here, and we went over to Alabama recently. I mean, mostly I'd say in the southeast, but occasionally we would go up north or to Canada. Now, in the old days, I toured constantly, and I played in a whole bunch of different countries and everything else, but not so much right now, because one thing is, unless you really have some backing or have a big following, it's just hard to pay the expenses and keep the tour going.
Yeah, I imagine there's a tremendous expense with not only getting the bodies there, but all the equipment and the logistics and all those things.
Yeah, it is, and things are so difficult as far as flying now too. I mean, before 9/11, I remember going to Europe checking. I think it was 43 different pieces of equipment. We, checked that into the airport. But you can't. That's impossible now. I don't think you could even do that. I don't know. Most of the time now, if you go somewhere like that, you just arrange. And what we did in Montreal too. We flew up there, but we arranged to have the equipment. There's a company that does all the jazz festivals and stuff, and we got the company, renting the equipment from them. That's what most people do now.
I can see where that might be more economic than toting everything with you, with all the things that's going on. Yeah,
trucking it that way would be slow and expensive, and so it's just a lot. Well, if it's that far away, it would really be expensive. A lot of problems.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find out all about Rick Fowler and the Rick Fowler Band, schedule, music, and all those things that's very important, see if I can get my brain housing group clicking here off the top of my head. Go to Facebook, and it would be facebook.com/ the Rick Fowler Band. Did I do that right, Rick?
You did it perfectly.
Okay, and that's it. And ladies and gentlemen, do that, because listen, y'all think I can't see you, but let me tell you a little story. When I was a kid growing up, we only had one channel on television, and that's if everything worked right. But we had this lady called Miss Patty who did the Romper Room, and every morning when she'd come on, she'd look through this mirror, and she'd say, "I see Betty, and I see Billy," and that was the prehistoric, what do they call it, FaceTime thingy. But anyhow, I was sitting here while we played that last song, and I was watching some of you. Especially, I was keeping an eye on the whole gang all the all the clients here at the Funny Farm. They were moving. Miss Ernestine had them out there moving. I'm telling you, they were moving. And so now that you're in the groove, we're going to keep you in the groove. But first, let me say, Rick, I thank you so very, very much for taking the time again and coming on. And we had no hiccups. That was good.
We had no hiccups, and I really appreciate the opportunity to come on, George, and it was a real pleasure to speak with you again, and thanks to everybody for listening.
All righty. And listen, like always, we'll stay in touch.
Absolutely.
You got all my info and all that good stuff. We'll stay in touch. And listen, someday, and I don't know how many more moons I've got left on this earth, but one of my bucket list is I've got to come to Athens, and I've got to meet you personally. That's on my bucket list. So,
I would love to meet you personally.
So,
yes, that would be great.
Someday I'm just going to say, Mom, let's jump in the car and let's head for Georgia. And
so if I get up your way, I'm going to let you know.
All right, buddy, let me know. I'll be looking forward to it. And so until then, thank you, brother. Love you much.
Thank you, brother.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, one tremendous human being, a good friend, and a great, great musician.
Destiny blues. I'm just a shipwreck drifter on a sea of pain, just trying to swim the shore of this ball and chain. Some kind of cruel order of a higher kind got me on the run to the end of time. The life I'm living ain't the life I choose. I got a full-blown case of the destiny blues. Well, I prayed to Jesus and Buddha too. I read Aaron Hubbard, studied New Voodoo. Nothing seems to help me find my own free will. I was dealt a hand and never made a deal. The life I'm living ain't the life I choose. Got the full-blown case of the destiny blues. Well, I prayed to Jesus and Buddha too. I read Aaron Hubbard, studied New Voodoo. Nothing seems to help me find my own free will. I was dealt a hand and never made a deal. The life I'm living ain't the life I choose. I got a full-blown case of the destiny blues. The life I'm living ain't the life I choose. The life I'm living ain't the life I choose. Taking me down, down, destiny blues.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is music from the Rick Fowler Band, and we thank Rick Fowler for being with us tonight. One super individual and a great, great friend, and they make wonderful sounding music. Go to, if I can get it right in my head, sometimes it don't work right, but I think I got it. Go to facebook.com/the Rick Fowler Band. And you can see his music, you can see his schedule, where they're going to be playing at, so on and so forth. So get in there, support him, and listen to his music. Go get his music. You know, he said you can get his music on Amazon, iTunes, all them good places that you can get it to nowadays. Now, this program tonight is being sponsored by Unicorn Chasing with Maxine and Walter. I better get this right because I personally know Maxine and Walter, so I better get this right. Unicorn Chasing with Maxine and Walter. Look them up on Facebook. Unicorn Chasing, CHASIN, Unicorn Chasing with Maxine and Walter. And look them up because tonight they tell me that they're going to be live on Facebook and they're going to be having another ring bomb party. What's a ring bomb party? You look them up. Unicorn Chasing with Maxine and Walter. And I know that you'll be glad you went. They'll be delighted to have you. And you'll see some different things take place that perhaps you never saw before. But join them tonight. Somewhere around 9:30, they'll be going live on Facebook. Unicorn Chasing with Maxine and Walter. Make sure you look them up. Let me give you some things that's taken place. It seems that we have started a routine, and tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we'll be having our second Ladies' Afternoon at the Farm. And what that entails is simply this: women entrepreneurs. And tomorrow afternoon we'll have a young lady on that is an entrepreneur, and she will be discussing her business, her aspirations, what led her to do this, what she's doing, and what she wants to accomplish. So tomorrow, 3 p.m., that's Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we will be having our guest on, a lady entrepreneur, and she'll be discussing what she does. And we play great music during the whole time that we're on. So, ladies, you pass the word. We'll post something up on our Facebook show page so that everybody can see it. We'll put it out there, and everyone down the street, around the corner, across America, and around the world can listen to that tomorrow. Now, let me get this because our time is slipping away. Next week, let me reach over here and grab my dooflicky. Next week, Monday night, Wednesday night, and Friday night, we have 3 super packed shows. On Monday night, Raleigh Sadler, who has written the book, Let My People Go. He is a minister out of New York, and he is combating human trafficking. You don't want to miss this. That's Monday night, August the 19th. Raleigh Sadler, Let My People Go. And we will get into it in depth. It's going to be very intriguing. It's going to be very challenging. And I know you don't want to miss it, so pass the word. Monday night, Raleigh Sadler. On Wednesday night, and I have in my hand a copy right here of his brand new book. In fact, it just came out. Wednesday night, we're going to have Mr. Richard A. Green, who is a former IRS agent, and he has written a book, and it's just released, and it's called Agents of Deceit: The True Story of Life Inside Today's Chaotic and Dysfunctional IRS. So Richard Green is on Wednesday night. You don't want to miss that. And remember, the chat room is open every night. So when our guests are here, if you've got a question, just jump in there and ask, and we'll get it up there. a week from tomorrow, or a week from Friday, we're going to have Mr. Alan Banks, who is the CEO of Proactive Protective Agency. And you are going to be spellbound as you listen to this man and the services and the things that they do. So he'll be with us on Friday night. A week from Friday night. Alan Banks, CEO of Proactive Protective Agency. We have got a week that's going to be thrilling, exciting. And then, and I'm going to mention this now, and then the following week, we're going to run shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we are going to have one continuous jam session where we're going to have groups on with us, and we're going to be featuring them, and we're going to be featuring their music, and we're going to jam from August 26th all the way to the end, which is Friday, August the 30th, every night out of Mississippi, out of Denver, Colorado, out of Kansas. So we have got us a full plate right here on the George Espenlaub Show. And I'm going to take a break and sit back and catch my breath.
I stand by you when you're falling, when the river is calling. I said I love you forever. We can make it together. What goes up must come down. There's lots of friendly faces all around, and nothing's ever lifting me higher than a touch of your sweet desire. Well, we're all built and right. We just have to hold on through the night. As long as we are watching the fire, we'll be safe from the devil's choir. I stand by you when you're falling, when the river is calling. I said I love you forever. We can make it together. Yeah, yeah. When things go wrong, it's easy to sing a sad song. Seems like nothing comes for free. Yeah. And it won't take love. Your fragile soul will soon be strong. I'll carry you so tenderly. What I wanna say is that I stand by you when you're falling, when the river is calling. I said I love you forever. We can make it together. Breaks my heart seeing you struggle with the things you do, carrying the one on your shoulder. When did we become so much older? Now I wish I could say that all my troubles gonna blow away, but I won't quit until it gets better, even if it takes me forever. I stand by you when you're falling, when the river is calling. I said I love you forever. We can make it together. Hey, we can make it. Yeah. Oh, 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 oh.
And you're listening to the George Espenlaub Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm in a place called Our World. Hey, we're working on some dramatizations of some of the characters, and I'm telling you, there's some real characters around here on the Funny Farm. But we're working on some dramatizations, and we're going to be bringing to you when we get a space. You know what I'm saying? Because we've got shows booked up, we've got people booked up, so we're working on that, and we'll bring it to you whenever we can fit it in. I do want to say this. If you know of someone that wasn't able to listen to us live tonight, not to worry. You can go to Spreaker.com